Now, in a bid to cripple Russia, U.S. President Joe Biden has proposed an additional $33 billion aid to Ukraine. Now, in a dramatic escalation in U.S. funding for Kyiv, Biden has asked U.S. Congress to support the war-torn nation and to siphon assets from Russian oligarchs. The funding request includes over $20 billion for weapon and military assistance, $8.5 billion for direct economic assistance, and $3 billion for humanitarian and food security aid.
I just signed a request to Congress for critical security, economic, and humanitarian assistance to help Ukraine continue to counter Putin's aggression, and at a very pivotal moment. We need this bill to support Ukraine in this fight for freedom, and our NATO allies, our EU partners, they're going to pay their fair share of the cost as well, but we have to do this. We have to do our part as well, leading the alliance. The cost of this fight it's not cheap, but caving to aggression is going to be more costly if we allow it to happen.
While President Biden is upping the efforts to isolate and punish Russia for invasion of Ukraine, the country's own economy received a massive blow. The U.S. Commerce Department has reported 1.4% drop in the country's GDP in the first quarter of this year, owing to numerous factors that include increasing imports, decline in inventories, global supply chain snarls, successive waves of COVID-19 and Russia's invasion of Ukraine, which led to disruptions of fuel and other commodities prices, and pandemic lockdowns in China that complicated the trade. The contraction was worse than expected, and the first since 2020, when the pandemic was at its worst.
Economies simply remained vulnerable to major shocks. Most recently, the global pandemic and now Russia's invasion of Ukraine underscore the likelihood of large economic shocks and disruptions that must be addressed. Downturns are likely to continue to challenge the economy. Recessions exact heavy tolls.
The latest corporate earnings were a mixed bag. While Facebook parent Meta reported better than expected results, McDonald's claimed rise in sales but profits fell. Twitter saw rise in profits but revenues dropped slightly below expectations. However, President Biden ruled out the possibility of U.S. entering into a recession, despite the shrinking GDP in the first quarter. While pointing out a jump in consumer and business spendings and low unemployment levels, Biden tried to indicate that the economy is in good shape. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.